Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Pamela Holly on the line, and she's founder and CEO of Universal Giving. Pamela, welcome to the show.
Hello, Adam. Thank you for having me.
All right, Pamela. So really excited to get into today's topic. So we'll be talking about entrepreneurship and what that means to you. And also I'm excited to get into Universal Giving and to learn more about, the background of the organization and, some of the inspiration behind you founding this, of course. But before we get started on those things, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all with our Mission Matters Minute. So, Pamela, we at Mission Matters amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. Pamela, what mission matters to you?
Well, with Universal Giving, we help people donate and volunteer with quality, vetted nonprofits all over the world. So what we do is help match up people with the best nonprofits all over the world so they can donate their money and volunteer their time.
Fantastic. And excited to learn more about Universal Giving as well. But maybe just to get us kicked off, tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got started as an entrepreneur.
I've been so blessed with a family that's been very entrepreneurial. I started my first business out of my family's backyard with a daycare center at the age of 10. With my sister and my mom supervising. And so my sister and I did that together. And it was just a great experience learning how to budget for how much can go to snacks and what happens if nap time doesn't last an hour and then the children only sleep 10 minutes. And kids who wanted to go in the pool, but for liability reasons, we couldn't let that happen. So I learned a lot from those experiences of setting up small micro businesses, if you will, that way. I also learned from lemonade stands. I tried to sell coins at my lemonade stand, and that didn't work, and people only wanted the lemonade. So I think, entrepreneurship, if you can get started even with kind of small micro ideas, it will teach you a lot about the marketplace, whether that's a global world out there or whether that's your neighborhood. So for me, I was starting off as an entrepreneur very, very early on. And then when I was at Duke, I had gone to Gallaudet to learn sign language to work with the deaf population. And I came back and I taught a course at Duke and it was oversubscribed. So I started teaching a paid course on the side. And so just really starting these kind of small micro businesses, listen to the marketplace, find out what's needed, and then you can start these smaller businesses. And of course, that eventually led to Universal Giving. So the background in entrepreneurship has been pretty strong in just testing out smaller ideas, seeing success that way. So it made me, I believe, more successful in my later ventures that had a lot more weight to them.
Amazing. And I love, you're an entrepreneur's entrepreneur, someone that started at a very young age, worked your way through, and I love business owners like that. And I love when ideas come from sometimes just an idea, like small beginnings, not necessarily always understanding where they'll go and where they'll be in the future, but you're maybe solving a problem or just looking a way to be productive and a way to give back. And I can see that in you, and just also in just hearing your journey. What do you think? Now you started at a very young age, and I guess, what do you think it takes to be an entrepreneur? Do you have to be kind of born with these traits? Can you learn them? What do you think?
Well, I always like to keep an open mind that anything is possible for anyone. So far be it from me to judge that someone can or can't be an entrepreneur. That's not up to me. I would never make that call. I do think that some people are more disposed to it, have a stronger inclination to it. And it doesn't just have to be about starting a business. You could be entrepreneurial within the business that you're working by pioneering a new idea, testing out a new product, by thinking outside the box and not just always following the rules because the rules are there. If the rules are great, super, you should follow them because that's making the business run well, and that's proper governance. But if it can be better, then you can always be an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, as they call it, within house of the company that you are working at. So I do think there are people who are some more predisposed towards this quality of kind of seeking out what is that new idea and what is that new marketplace. So I do think there's some people who are naturally inclined that way, but I would never restrict anyone from anything. I do think that anything is possible for anyone.
How does leadership play a role in this? Like, where does that fit into this whole scenario?
Well, ideally with this, Adam, as an entrepreneur, you're ideally creating something sustainable for the long term. It's not just brainstorming ideas. It's coming up with something that's going to stick for the long term and really have a lasting impact. And behind that is very solid operations, well-run organization, a very, very good team, a strong, diverse, global team that is backing up all of your mission and the execution of your mission in many, many different ways. And so to me, once you start that idea as an entrepreneur, either you or other people who are better than you, ideally both, are continuing this forward through leadership to take this idea to a very, very stable situation where it lasts for decades and decades and goes on, way, way beyond you as an entrepreneur. So I like to coach entrepreneurs to say, be thinking not just, wow, I started this idea, but the real journey and the real honor of being an entrepreneur is making it provide lasting value for the long term. That's what I think is really exciting. If an entrepreneur can think, I want to be a leader for the long term. I want to help my company be in a leadership position for the long term, not only being successful as the company itself, but also being a value add for the industry. How can you help the industry be better? How can you help the world be better? And at Universal Giving, we very much did that when we started off, helping people donate and volunteer across the world. When we started off, we had 6 stages in our vetting process. So we have a quality model that vets nonprofits. If we just wanted to be an entrepreneur and just stop there, we could have said, oh my goodness, we were the first, group that came up with a quality model trademarked with 6 vetting stages. But now, Adam, we have 25 stages. We have added on more and more steps in vetting for our nonprofits on terrorism, vetting social media, vetting media, vetting Me Too movement. We're constantly innovating. So to me, that goes beyond entrepreneurship and to leadership, where Universal Giving is being a leader in quality vetting, making sure that your philanthropy, your volunteering is being involved with the best nonprofits. So you want the leadership to continue to accelerate, to continue to innovate, and to not only make your organization the best, but to make your industry better. And we hope we contributed to people feeling more secure in their giving and more secure in their volunteering.
I think that's a great transition, and I'd like to, and thank you for that. So let's go a little bit further. I know you mentioned part of it, but let's go further. So tell us more about Universal Giving and what you do.
So with Universal Giving, we have a website and mobile website as well, where people can come on and decide, I want to go clean up a river in Tanzania. So you can go volunteer to do that. Or if you want to donate and you want to build a house, you can go do that and choose the country that you want to do that in. So we have a team of NGO outreach team all across the world, outreaching to NGOs that we think are top performing. We vet them and we put them up on the website. So what you're getting on the website are the best places to donate and volunteer. Often what we're also doing, Adam, is we're not trying to find big name nonprofits. We're not looking to just promote big name brands. What we're looking for is, who are those great local on the ground leaders who really know what they're doing, have that expertise, and promote them on Universal Giving after they've been vetted through our quality model. So when you come in as a donor and donate, or you come in as a volunteer and volunteer, you're just getting the best of the best of these local leaders who really know what they're doing on the ground, so that when you participate, you have the best experience possible. We're not interested in being a group that lists all volunteer opportunities or all donation opportunities. We want the ones where your impact is going to be the greatest, both as a donor and a volunteer. So all of this is free. 100% goes to the cause. When you donate, 100% goes there. When you volunteer, we're not charging you to find the volunteer opportunity. You just can go and volunteer. We're a nonprofit. This is a public service for us. What we're trying to do is just make it as easy as possible for the donor and volunteer to find the best way to give and volunteer.
Let's focus maybe on the volunteer for a moment. How do you recommend people find the best volunteer opportunities?
Well, I think one of the things that we have to be so aware of is when people are volunteering, that is precious. People are giving up of their valuable time. Time is one of our greatest resources. Once time goes by today, we don't get to see today again. So time is one of our most precious resources. So when someone says they want to volunteer, they're giving you one of the most precious gifts they can give. And so we want to honor that at Universal Giving by making sure that when they choose to volunteer, they get to do that with a quality organization and get to have a great experience. And we hold that same thing true with Universal Giving. We vet volunteers to volunteer and work with us. And the same thing with us. We're saying to you, when you make that commitment, we're expecting you to keep it. And we also are going to give a lot to you. We give a lot of professional training to the volunteers. We help them grow in their career. Often they add us to their resume. So we're not only a marketplace matching up, donors and volunteers on our website. We also accept volunteers at a Universal Giving. So we live what we practice. We live what we preach every day, giving our volunteers the best experience they can have, and they contribute to us in a very positive way too. I will say this on the volunteering side, whether it's from the volunteer side or the organization side, everyone needs to treat it so seriously. The volunteer's time is precious, and the nonprofit's time is precious too. It's not free for the nonprofit because the nonprofit is giving you valuable management time. They are spending their managers' hours and paying their managers to manage you. So everyone's time needs to be valued very, very strongly, both the volunteer and the nonprofit, and treat it seriously. Don't just sign up for a volunteer opportunity if you think you want to try it out. If you think you want to try it out, let them know that. Let them know, I'd like to try it out a couple of days. Is that possible? Don't sign up for 3 months unless your intent is really to commit and finish those 3 months. For us at Universal Giving, we don't let anyone volunteer underneath 6 months. You have to volunteer for a minimum of 6 months. Many volunteers volunteer with us for 2 years or more. It's that serious, and the training we give you is that serious as well, too. So I think it needs to be treated seriously, and that you can try out volunteer opportunities, but if you do so, be open with a nonprofit. They may or may not decide to want to have that. What you could do as well, too, is a one-time opportunity, which we have on our site, where you can just do it in a day. And that's a great way to test out volunteering without making a commitment. Just volunteer for a day. So volunteer to help serve youth on a day, and then you might decide, yes, I want to make a longer-term commitment and volunteer with CASA, which is Court Appointed Special Advocates, which works with foster care youth, which I'm also a part of as well. That's a long-term commitment where you go through training. So you want to be very specific about your volunteering and your intention, both to honor your own time as well as to honor the nonprofit.
Oh, that's great. It's great, and it's a great platform. And I know I'm going off of LinkedIn here, but now you've been doing this for a long time, so you're over your 20-year anniversary. Am I off on that?
You're right. It's 20 years. And
Congratulations, first off. If I had one of those clappers, I'd do it right now. But yeah, no, that's awesome. It's amazing. It's an amazing story. And to be in this market and helping this many organizations over the course of 20 years, I just have to say bravo. Like, serious, that's a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. And I have to tell you, every day is a joy. You have faced challenges as an entrepreneur, but every day I wake up and I'm never tired because I love what I do. And that's what I fought to find was find a job that I love to do. This is not a job for me, and that's what I wish for other people too. Find your mission. It may be full-time. It might be part-time. It might be a side hobby. We all have different callings in life, but if you can, try to find out what you love to do, because that will just spark your life and bring joy to it and bring joy to all around you as well.
Fantastic. Well, Pamela, again, it's been great having you on the show and just learning more about your background in entrepreneurship, all the great work you're doing at Universal Giving. If somebody is listening to this and they want to learn more and they want to connect with you and your team, what's the best way for them to do that?
I would say go right to universalgiving.org, universalgiving.org, and there you can find volunteer and donation opportunities. And if you don't find what you're looking for, email us. We have a button on there. You can email us, and we will go find it. We believe in high client service, and if we don't have it, we'll go find it for you.
Oh, it's wonderful. What a great story. And then we'll put all those links in the show notes so that our audience can just click on the links and head right on over and check out you and your team. So we'll definitely do that, make it nice and easy. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time listening to a Mission Matters episode or engaging with the platform, we're all about bringing on mission-based entrepreneurs, executives, and experts and having them share, why they do what they do, like what gets them up and motivated to go out there into the world and into the marketplace and to make a difference. If that's the type of content that sounds interesting, maybe engaging or fun to you, then feel free to hit that subscribe button because we have many more mission-based individuals coming up on the line and we don't want you to miss a thing. And Pamela, really, it has been a pleasure. Wishing you much more continued success for yourself, your organization, and all of the many, many organizations that you're making a difference for. So thanks again. We appreciate your work.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me.